Good morning to everyone. I'm Dr. Sumi MS. The topic of my today's presentation is code converters from Unit 2 Combinational Circuits and Logic Family, Digital Logic Circuits and Design. On completion, the students will be able to understand the different types of code converters and also be able to list the applications of code converters. Code converters are digital logic circuits that translate data from one binary code format like binary, BCD, gray, XS3 code to another, that is acting as a translator between systems that are applying different codes, essential for compatibility and simplifying the hardware requirements. They work by creating truth tables and using K-maps or Boolean algebra to design logic gates for conversions like binary to gray or BCD to XS3 conversions. Code converters are important components in various digital systems and devices as they help to connect different digital devices together that support data in different formats. What is a code converter? A code converter is a digital electronic circuit that is used to convert a digital code from one form to another. A digital code is nothing but a piece of data or information that is generally represented in binary format, that is in the form of strings of ones and zeros. For example, consider a digital system that supports data in binary format, and we need to connect the system with another system which is going to process the data in a decimal format. Then we need a data converter between them that can translate the binary formatted data into a decimal format for this data processing. This is how code converters play an important role in system interfacing. Function of a code converter. The primary function of a code converter is to accept code in one format and translate it into a different one. A code converter reads and interprets the input code and produces an equivalent output code according to its functionality. For example, a binary to decimal code converter takes a binary code as input and it is generating an equivalent decimal code at its output. Types of code converters. Depending on the conversion task that a code converter performs, the following are some common types of code converters: binary to decimal converter, decimal to BCD converter, BCD to decimal converter, binary to gray code converter, gray code to binary converter, BCD to XS3 converter, XS3 to BCD converter. Binary to decimal converter, a type of code converter that is used to convert data which is present in binary format to decimal format is called a binary to decimal converter. The input to the binary to decimal converter is a number that is represented in the format of zeros and ones. Then the converter uses an algorithm to convert the input binary number into an equivalent decimal number. Finally, it generates a decimal code as output. Decimal to binary converter. A decimal to binary, that is binary coded decimal converter, is a type of code converter that converts a decimal data into its equivalent 4-bit binary code called BCD code. BCD to decimal converter, a digital circuit that can convert a binary coded decimal number into an equivalent decimal number, is referred to as BCD to decimal converter. The input to a BCD to decimal converter is an 8421 BCD code and the output generated by the converter is a decimal number. Binary to gray code converter. A binary to gray code converter is a type of code converter that can translate a binary code into its equivalent gray code. This converter accepts a binary number as input and produces a corresponding gray code as output. Gray code to binary converter. A gray code to binary converter is a digital circuit that can translate a gray code into an equivalent pure binary code. Thus, a gray code to binary converter takes a gray code as an input signal and produces a purely binary code as output. BCD to XS3 converter. This is a type of converter that is used to convert a binary coded decimal number given as input into its equivalent XS3 code. Similarly, XS3 to BCD converter takes an XS3 code as input and converts it into a binary coded decimal number at the output. Applications of code converters. In digital circuits and systems, the code converters are essential components that allow the conversion of digital code from one format to another. Some of the important applications of code converters are they are employed in analog to digital conversion as well as in digital to analog converters. They are used in computers to translate data between different digital formats and are also employed in display devices like 7-segment displays to convert binary code into human readable form. They are also employed to perform modulation and encoding tasks and also used as interfacing device between two digital devices or systems that are using different encoding schemes and are applied to manipulate and process signals in various signal processing applications. They allow to interpret and process digital information in different formats. Quiz questions on code converters. What do you mean by code converters? List the different types of code converters. What are the different applications of code converters? Thank you.